They thought they were the hunters. They thought they were untouchable. But today, the hunters have become the prey, and the screams of terror you're hearing aren't coming from the victim. They're coming from the criminals. We have just received leaked footage from inside a Florida courtroom that is so disturbing, so emotionally raw. It's sending shockwaves through the entire hip-hop industry. 3 young men, once fueled by street pride and greed, are currently on their knees, sobbing, gasping for air, and literally begging for mercy as a judge delivers a sentence that ends their lives forever.
Why?
Because they made the fatal mistake of kicking in the door of the most dangerous man to cross in 2025, Tekashi 6ix9ine. But this wasn't just a robbery. This was an ambush on his mother. This was a violation of the ultimate code. And as the heavy iron doors prepare to swallow them whole, a new, darker revelation has just surfaced. A secret message found on a recovered burner phone suggests these boys weren't working alone. Someone much bigger, someone we all know, sent them on a suicide mission. Stay tuned, because what happens next will change everything. To truly grasp why this courtroom scene is the most watched moment of 2026, you have to understand the toxic soil this drama grew from. Tekashi 6ix9ine, born Daniel Hernandez, is a name that has become synonymous with chaos. But in the streets of Florida, his name was a challenge. For years, the narrative around 6ix9ine was that he was a marked man, a walking target who had violated the sacred street code of silence. But as the years passed and 6ix9ine didn't just survive but thrived, a dangerous brand of resentment began to fester in the underground. The 3 individuals now facing life behind bars weren't just random thieves. They were products of a culture that had been told that touching 6ix9ine would make you a legend. Leaked law enforcement records suggest that these 3 suspects, young, reckless, and hungry for clout, had been tracking 6ix9ine's movements for months. They weren't looking for music. They were looking for a way to prove themselves to the gatekeepers of the street. They saw the rainbow-haired rapper as a meme, a joke, a glitch in the matrix that needed to be corrected. But their biggest mistake? They thought his family was the soft underbelly they could exploit without consequences. The history here is deep. Since his 2019 release, 6ix9ine has lived behind a wall of elite private security, making him virtually unreachable. Frustrated and desperate, the hitters shifted their focus to a target that didn't have a 10-man security detail, his mother's residence. This wasn't just a lapse in judgment. It was a calculated, cold-blooded decision to bring the war to an innocent woman's doorstep. Insider reports indicate that the tension had reached a boiling point in the weeks leading up to the ambush. 6ix9ine had reportedly received a series of cryptic threats on a private Instagram account, including photos of his mother's driveway.
And everyone knows that I'm on house arrest. Yesterday they allowed me to leave for work. People, I guess, saw that I was on live stream with Jack Doherty. They took that opportunity to fucking do some pussy shit. Like I said, it's me, so I get it. The rules are different for me. But if it was fucking your favorite artist, your favorite actor, and that was done, they don't get no cool points for that. My mom is 60 years old. Y'all know I'm supposed to come home. Y'all know I'm home all the time. I'm on house arrest. So y'all take the opportunity that I'm not.
But here's where the background gets even darker. Sources close to the investigation claim that these 3 boys were being mentored by an older, more sinister figure, a former associate of the 9 Treybloods who felt 6ix9ine still owed a debt in blood. This was never about the designer purses. Those were just the trophies. The real objective was to send a message that no matter how much money you have, your past will always find a way to hurt the people you love. As we look at the wreckage of this home invasion, it's clear that this was an explosion years in the making. The streets were waiting for a moment to strike, and these 3 boys were the ones foolish enough to pull the pin on the grenade. They thought they were rewriting the street code, but instead, they were walking straight into a trap designed by the state of Florida and 6ix9ine himself. The inevitability of this crash is what makes the current courtroom footage so haunting. They are finally realizing that in the game of 6ix9ine versus the streets, the house always wins. The silence of that fateful Tuesday morning was shattered at exactly 3:14 a.m. While the rest of the world slept, a silver SUV with darkened plates pulled into the shadows of a quiet Florida suburb. Three figures emerged, cloaked in black, their faces hidden behind red tactical masks. This wasn't a smash and grab. This was a military-style breach. They didn't go for the windows. They used a heavy-duty ram to take down the back door, entering the residence of 6ix9ine's mother with a level of aggression that suggested they weren't just looking for valuables. They were looking for blood. The scene inside was pure, unadulterated terror. 6ix9ine's mother, an elderly woman who has spent years trying to stay out of her son's chaotic spotlight, was confronted in her hallway by three armed men. The lead intruder, according to a leaked police transcript, didn't head for the safe. He grabbed her by the arm and forced her into the living room. "Call him," he growled. "Call your son and tell him the bill is due." Imagine the psychological trauma, an innocent woman being used as bait in a high-stakes rap war. They began tearing the house apart, but they weren't looking for jewelry. They were throwing over furniture, ripping up floorboards, and screaming about the hard drive. For 20 minutes, they held her at gunpoint, finally settling for several high-end designer purses and a briefcase before fleeing as the sirens began to wail in the distance. The 911 call is gut-wrenching. You can hear her gasping for air, her voice trembling as she tells the operator, they said they'd be back for Daniel. But as the suspects sped away, laughing and thinking they had just pulled off the heist of the century, the first shocking twist was already unfolding. They thought they were being tracked by standard police cruisers. They were wrong. They were being tracked by 6ix9ine himself. You see, 6ix9ine had spent over $200,000 on a smart security system that most people don't even know exists. Every single designer bag in that house was fitted with a microscopic, military-grade GPS tracker sewn into the lining. But that's not the twist. The real twist came when the police intercepted the SUV and forced the three boys out at gunpoint. When the officers opened the trunk to recover the stolen purses, they found something that made the lead detective turn pale. Underneath the designer bags was a folder. Inside that folder was a set of printed photos. Photos of 6ix9ine's mother taken from inside the house days before the robbery. These weren't grainy long-distance shots. They were close-ups. Someone had been inside that house. Someone had let them in. As the suspects were being cuffed, the youngest one started screaming. "We had a key. He gave us the key." The police found a spare key to the front door in the lead suspect's pocket. And here is the revelation that is melting the internet. That key was traced back to a member of 6ix9ine's own security team, a man 6ix9ine had trusted for 3 years. This wasn't just a home invasion, it was an inside job. 6ix9ine hadn't just been robbed by enemies, he had been sold out by his own protectors. The betrayal was so deep that when 6ix9ine arrived at the scene, he didn't look angry. He looked cold, because he realized that the call wasn't just coming from the streets, it was coming from inside the house. Within minutes of the inside job revelation, the internet didn't just explode, it broke. By 4:30 a.m., hashtag 6ix9ine betrayal was trending in 42 countries. But as the world was...
What do you think about 6ix9ine house being robbed? I don't think nothing. Nigga, I went to bed with holes and big asses and Boosie on my mind. Fuck, I'm thinking about 6ix9ine and me and Boosie was at 5 o'clock in the morning making eye contact with each other. Fuck, I'm thinking about I had put the bed with Boosie on my mind, nigga. You think about 6ix9ine?
Busy dissecting the security guard's involvement. A second, far more sinister layer of the story began to leak from a verified anonymous source on the dark web. This wasn't just about a guard wanting a quick payday. This was about an organized industry execution. The escalation began when a leaked Twitter thread from a high-level forensic investigator surfaced, showing a series of encrypted payments made to the security guard's offshore account. The source of the funds? A shell company linked to a prominent music management powerhouse based in Atlanta. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. This wasn't a street hit. This was a corporate assassination attempt. The world watched in horror as rumors began to swirl that a major rap mogul, someone who has publicly feuded with 6ix9ine for years, had actually financed the home invasion to retrieve something 6ix9ine was using as leverage. But the shocking reveal that paralyzed the hip-hop world happened at dawn. While the three suspects were being processed, police technicians managed to bypass the encryption on one of the burner phones found in the silver SUV. They didn't just find texts. They found a 30-second voice memo sent through an encrypted app just hours before the ambush. The voice on the memo was distorted, but the message was chillingly clear. Don't worry about the woman.
Just get the drive.
If he doesn't have the drive, he doesn't have the power. Finish it and the million is yours. The drive mentioned in the memo sent the industry into a panic. What drive could be so valuable that $1 million bounty was placed on a home invasion? Sources are now claiming that 6ix9ine has been secretly hoarding blackmail files, recordings, financial ledgers, and private messages that implicate some of the biggest names in the music business in illegal activities. The home invaders weren't looking for purses. They were looking for the kill switch to the entire industry. As this news hit, major celebrities began deactivating their social media accounts. The backlash was immediate. If 6ix9ine has the receipts, we're all going down, one producer tweeted before deleting his account. The cliffhanger that has everyone gripping their phones is this. The police have just confirmed that the inside man, the security guard, has disappeared from protective custody. He didn't escape, he was taken. And the drone footage from outside the precinct shows a blacked-out van with government plates waiting at the exit. Is the government involved, or is the industry mogul more powerful than the law? The question isn't just who sent the boys. It's what happens to 6ix9ine now that the world knows he has the industry's deadliest secrets? As the news of the industry mogul, involvement, and the secret blackmail drive hit the airwaves, social media didn't just trend, it fractured. X, formerly Twitter, has become a digital battlefield. On one side, the hashtag 6ix9ine's justice movement is calling for a total boycott of major labels, with fans claiming that the industry is no better than the gangs they pretend to condemn. They tried to take out a mother because they were scared of some files? Reset the whole game. One viral tweet read, garnering over 2 million likes in under an hour. But the real drama is happening in the industry's inner circles. Leaked screenshots from a verified industry group chat show A-list rappers and executives in a state of absolute panic. One prominent Atlanta rapper, whose name we are legally withholding for now, reportedly typed, "If that drive sees the light of day, it's not just jail, it's the end of our legacy." This fear has led to a wave of accidental unfollows, with celebrities frantically distancing themselves from anyone linked to the Atlanta management firm mentioned in the police reports. The fan base is just as divided. While some are making TikToks mocking the home invaders for crashing out over some purses, others are genuinely terrified. Being a fan of 6ix9ine is like being a fan of a horror movie that never ends, one fan posted. Major news outlets like TMZ and Law and Crime are running 24/7 updates, but the silence from the biggest names in the rap game is deafening. They aren't condemning the hit. They're waiting to see if their names are on that drive. Even the legal community is weighing in. High-profile attorneys are calling this the RICO of the decade, suggesting that the government has been waiting for an excuse to dismantle the corporate side of hip-hop. The division is clear. You're either with a rat who has the receipts, or you're with the moguls who are allegedly willing to kill to keep them hidden. But as the fan, wars intensify. A cryptic post from 6ix9ine's official Instagram just added fuel to the fire. A picture of a gold-plated hard drive with the caption, "Password, June 26th. Just when the world thought the gavel had fallen for the final time, a chilling new development has emerged that turns this entire legal victory into a terrifying new chapter. As of March 2026, while 6ix9ine is reportedly back behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center for a separate probation violation, his mother has gone into hiding, and for a very good reason. We have just received a final, world-shattering reveal. A letter, allegedly smuggled out of the Florida County Jail by one of the life-sentenced invaders, has been leaked to our team. It isn't a plea for forgiveness. It is a direct warning. The note contains a single, blood-curdling sentence that is already being scrubbed from the internet. The purses were empty, but the trackers led us exactly where you kept the blue folder. Pause for dramatic effect. What blue folder? For years, rumors have swirled that 6ix9ine isn't just a witness. He's an archivist. The folder mentioned in the letter is rumored to contain high-definition evidence of industry-wide money laundering and human trafficking involving major label heads, evidence that the home invaders were actually sent to destroy, not steal. But here is the cliffhanger that will keep you awake tonight. The FBI has just confirmed that the fourth person of interest, the shadow figure seen on the drone footage, is an active-duty private military contractor. He didn't vanish. He's been spotted in Miami, and the dark web is reporting a $5 million open contract on the recovery of that folder. Did 6ix9ine just win a court case? Or did he accidentally trigger an all-out war with the people who truly run the world? As he sits in a cell, 6ix9ine's latest legal team has gone silent, and his social media has been replaced by a countdown clock ending in 48 hours. Is the countdown for a release, or a leak that will end the music industry as we know it? The names are about to come out, and the first one starts with a P. Stay tuned. This is beyond dangerous. I want to hear from you right now. Do you think the blue folder is real, or is this 6ix9ine's final, desperate play for protection? And who is the P mentioned in the leaked files? Drop your theories in the comments. The more detailed, the better. If you want to be the first to see the decrypted drone footage and the names mentioned in that smuggled letter, you have to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are dropping the identity of the fourth person in our next emergency update. Don't let the industry bury this. Like this video to help us bypass the algorithms and get the truth out. The clock is ticking. Are you ready for the fallout? We'll see you in the next one. Stay woke.